Hey there, today is the day that we go over the last part of controlling your Christmas lights with a Raspberry Pi. Okay, so this is going to be the last video. I got my Vixen stuff done with the Carol of the Bells. It's more sequences and numbers and everything that I can care to even go over or try and do again, but I got it done. There is a little bit of timing off, so when I do this video, I took some video already out that I'm going to edit in here. The stuff I have all set up in the garage and how that's set up, and then we're going to go over the actual showing of a show with the lights and everything else, and how it kind of works out. I did have to move in the video. You'll see I have the speakers there. I had to move where they are because inside the garage, my small speakers, the low notes, of course, will penetrate the wall and the garage door and everything and kind of get out to the street, but the higher notes will not. So I had to run wire and stuff and put the speakers outside under the eave. I put them under the eave so that if it rains or anything else, the speakers won't get wet, and they're just kind of, I have them wedged up in there for the audio. Some people will actually use an FM transmitter. I stop, the light show stops before 10 o'clock, so I think the last show was like 10 at 9:45 or 9:49 or something like that. So I'm not going to be breaking any sound laws or sound rules in the area. It's just after 10 o'clock, it all needs to be quiet. So that's kind of how I have it set up. So here we go. Let's jump over to the garage and see how that looks. Okay, so I'm out here in my garage. I've got my board mounted and the relays here, and then of course we have all of our extension cords coming down. You're going to have to get used to the fact that down here in the bottom, you're going to have just a ton of cords just going everywhere and up the wall. I have cords going here because each one of these cords, right, has to feed a separate connection to each set of lights that I want on a channel. So that makes it so, if I want a set of lights that's way out, so we'll walk out here, garage that I have, and then we've got some lights here on the lawn. We've got projectors here. We've got things out here on the hedges and some candy canes, another projector. But if I want, so each of these candy canes, the red and the green are on separate channels. So that means I have to run separate. As you can see here, there's separate cords here that come out for each of the channels. So you're going to end up, so even though, like here, even though this projector that's sitting here is right next to the net light, it still needs its own separate wire that's coming here. That's this one, so that it can be on a separate channel from the net lights. So you can see where it gets to be kind of complex and end up being a lot of little extension cords. We also have our speaker box and a little subwoofer. I may take these, the high end of the speakers, and I often mount them outside. So I'll be doing that at some point, running a cable through the wall and mounting them outside under the eave so they don't get wet and everything else. I do have a little, I'm going to post this also up there. I've been editing some code, so I'll be updating that in my Bitbucket account. But I do have just like a little piece of code that just is here that helps me to, I use it, I remote in using VNC to get to the Raspberry Pi, and I run this code it just sets the BitBang device and just sets up the relay, and then I can up arrow and then backspace over that and tell it to turn on like 128. Then if I hit enter, you can see this light right here just came on, and then I can go out and look and see what lights are on. This is a little bit easier to do when it starts to get to be dusk. You don't want it too dark so you're fumbling around or anything else, but that way I can go, okay, what lights and how does this look when this channel is on? And then you can move down. I can just easily move down and pick another one like 4, and then this set of lights comes on, and I can go and check and see how that looks, and just kind of move through and make sure your display is going to be kind of how you want it with the different lights and everything. Okay, so that's what we're doing out here in the garage. Now we'll head back inside. Here we go. I do have my camera. I'm going to go out to kind of stick this on the mailbox and point this at the house and let it film the show, so then I can come back and edit it into this video. All right. You do see in the garage there's tons of cables and cords, and I look down here in this bag. Mrs. Textro came over and said, you have another whole set of these cords. I'm like, oh, because we went and bought more that I thought I needed more, but evidently I had some I didn't even know. That's how many you need to do this kind of stuff. All right, let's go. Okay, so that's how the show goes. I mean, you can kind of see it's getting off a little bit towards the end. I am going to work on my algorithm a little bit to kind of shorten that. I got to put kind of a multiplier in there, but that's what it is so far. Hope you like it. If you do this next year, then like, share, subscribe, and I'll keep updating this as I improve it, and then share your video about what your house looks like and all that and how your program goes. All right. Well, thanks for watching this one, and take care.